Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight here at 4FSU as we bring you your weather. I'm student meteorologist Donovan Wiseman.
And I'm student meteorologist Kimball. It's been quite a wet one the past couple of hours.
Man, it's been a wet one all day, it feels like. And from yesterday, we had gray skies. And early this morning, it was already humid when I went to my first class. A little bit of drizzling, but mostly just humid today.
Yeah, I went up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It was overcast skies. When I got out of class, it was absolutely pouring. And I'm like, no umbrella, this is a bad sign.
Oh, man, yeah. Umbrella is going to be like a necessity this week. Number one thing you should remember when you leave home.
Yeah, pretty much going to become your best friend. So umbrella, rain boots, long pants, like anything you have, weather gear wise, you're going to need it because it's going to be quite a wet one the next couple of days.
Yeah, you're right. Those rain chances stay up for the whole week, and we'll talk about those numbers. But really, I forgot my my umbrella this morning. Luckily, I didn't get caught in any of the showers, but I did deal with all that humidity outside. I mean, it felt like you could feel the air as you were walking through.
Yes, I had found out the difference between the rain and actual sweat. It was just mixing in both, and it was not a happy camper. So I made sure I take a couple of showers here and there because it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, today is not the day to forget to wear deodorant. Be kind to those around you. Remember to stay, hygienic with that because we're going to keep seeing that the rest of the week. So something to consider.
Yes, with dew points being high too. So I mean, make sure you have some protection against all the sweaty weather. But I'll tell you more about that with a little more look on the overview for a second. So with the overview, we're going to see a lot more scattered showers. So when we see Tallahassee, you're starting to see Tallahassee become a little more of a wet spot for the next couple of days. For tonight, it's 70 degrees. Showers are possible. Wet and muggy, 60% chance of showers as well. So quite a wet one for Tallahassee. And taking a look ahead for the next couple of days, showers will be continuing on in our area as well as warm and humid weather. And it will be clearing out later on into the week, probably around Friday. So again, a lot more rain expected in our region, so not quite a good one for any type of outdoor activities.
No, not this week. It's not the week to be outside. You know what? We got finals and things coming up, so it's a good time to be inside studying.
And speaking of the rain, we saw a lot more of a flood threat for most of our western parts of the panel, as well as western part just west of us.
Yeah, here in the southeast, I mean, around the Gulf of Mexico especially, we have a few states that are very prone to flooding and losing their coastline. Louisiana's already losing an acre an hour in southern parts. So
yeah, and even taking a little close look at our area, we started to see Jackson County, which have back in Cottondale, they actually had 12 inches of rain. So because of that, they had a flash flood warning.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine 12 inches of rain here.
No, I mean, we had a couple of flash flood watches here and there earlier in the year, so I can't imagine 12 inches of rain. That's pretty much taking out boats, canoes, just rolling through rain.
Well, we'll see how it's going here for the rest of the week in Tallahassee with Ulises.
All right, thanks, Donovan. Right now, currently, we're seeing 80 degrees with that mostly cloudy skies. Those winds coming out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour. It just feels nasty out there with especially all that rain just to the west of us as you go towards I-10. Right now, temperatures are pretty mild and warm thanks to that southwesterly wind coming over. 80 degrees in Tallahassee, 81 in St. Mark's, 70s a little bit further inland. Overall, it's still really warm, very sticky out there. And but right now, the radar, you notice a lot of that heavy rain just to the west of our viewing area. And that's going to pretty much been the dominant area of all this rain today. Pretty much we've been seeing flash flood watches in effect from pretty much west out of the Chattahoochee River all the way up to Louisiana. So that's all going to be affected tomorrow morning. A couple more lighter showers just to the east of our viewing area, heading in towards east of Valdosta towards the eastern portion of Georgia. The rest of the southeast, however, a lot of that rain, is extending over Alabama into Arkansas and even to points west where that low pressure is over eastern New Mexico and western Texas. That is really going to be our moneymaker for this rest of the work week. All that showers and storms are eventually going to begin to push towards the east. Tomorrow on Tuesday, the umbrella will still be handy over Tallahassee and even through majority of the southeast. Just flash flood watches all over the area. So just remember to turn around, don't drown all throughout the southeast. It's just going to be a washout, and that's going to continue even as we go further into our Tuesday at night and even into our Wednesday. That low pressure just slowly moving out of Texas into Louisiana, heavy rain over New Orleans, and that will continue as it goes further and further east into Wednesday. Hopefully by Thursday into Friday, those conditions will begin to die down. But Wednesday, you notice a rough day all throughout the southeast, now extending into the Carolinas and even all the way up to Virginia itself. Tonight, temperatures are going to be around the upper 60s to low 70s mark, 60% chance of rain. Winds coming out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, overall, it's going to be a warm day, 83 degrees all throughout the interior, lower 80s on the coast. It's going to be mostly cloudy. The umbrella will be your best friend, folks. That 60% chance of rain. But overall, the next 7 days, the rain will dominate very early into the work week with temperatures into the lower 80s. Morning lows overall will be pretty uniform in those middle 60s. The showers begin to die down just a tad as we march into the weekend, especially on Friday and Saturday. But overall, folks, just have that umbrella with you. There's really no point around it. It's going to be sticky. It's going to be warm. So it's just going to have to get used to it, folks, because it's starting to get more and more just like summer. And now we're going to send it over to Donovan with a look at the southeast.
All right, Ulises, thank you for taking us around Tallahassee. Let's expand our view a little bit, folks, and talk about the rest of the southeast, talking about current conditions. We're sitting pretty good here around Tallahassee at 80 degrees, a little humid outside, and you see these clouds above us, and in Atlanta into Alabama, pretty much across the southeast until you get further down south into Florida. We're seeing a lot of clouds, and that's just because there's been rain all day in every state here in the southeast, and that's what the satellite and radar shows, especially across our area. We saw it from Pensacola all the way over to Tallahassee. We just seen some pop-up showers throughout the day. The sun did come out, so it was nice for a little while, but it's been mostly muggy and rainy all day. And we talked about Louisiana, how they're worried about maybe flooding this week and all the rain that they got today. Well, you can see that they got covered from down here in New Orleans through Baton Rouge and all the way up into Shreveport and Monroe, areas like that. They just got hit really hard today throughout Louisiana, throughout the French state there. So feel bad for them as they deal with these flooding issues and watching out for things like that. Now, our 24-hour temperature change, we went up 2 degrees here in Tallahassee. Orlando went up about 6 degrees. Atlanta as well went up 6 degrees. We got a little bit cooler up in the northern Mississippi, up into Little Rock, Arkansas, areas like that. And that's just because of some rain that they saw today. We were a little bit cooler yesterday with all those cloud coverage across our Sunday here in Tallahassee. And we saw some rain starting around midnight. We got about a little over 1/1500ths of an inch, and then Orlando barely getting any. But you look up into Tupelo and Little Rock from yesterday, I mean, really from midnight, they saw a lot of rain. They got about 3/4 of an inch. New Orleans around 1/2 an inch, and Shreveport as well. So again, Louisiana is one of those states that saw rain all day across the entire state. And that we're talking more about this rain. You can see water vapor here currently from early around noon today here on Monday into this hour here at 6 o'clock. And that's what this green indicates, just all that moisture and possible precipitation across the southeast. And it really just covered all of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and of course here in Florida as well. All across the Big Bend region, we've seen it today. And those chances are going to stay high for the next several days, unfortunately, as well. And now let's talk a little bit more about that rain and just zooming in, especially on this area. Look at all that red and orange we saw over around Pensacola and areas like that. So it was pretty rough today. But for tonight, 69 here in Tallahassee, 70 in Orlando. For tomorrow, we're going to be around 87. Expect those showers again, though. It's going to be warm, but we're going to see some rain, and just pretty much the next 5 days are going to be carbon copies of rain and humid and some high temperatures. So nothing too bad, but not the most ideal weather in my opinion.
No, not ideal indeed. But for a little more of what's happening around, back in history, let's take it back over weather history.
Let's do that. In 1857, the press reported that snow fell in every state in the Union during the month of April. Can you believe that?
I cannot believe that. I mean, we're talking about we've been so warm the past couple of years. Like, there's no way, but it happened. So 1857 has been quite a year. Also, 1857, in Alabama, they had a late snow and frost in the south, accumulation of about 4 inches in parts of Alabama.
Well, you know, it gets pretty cool in Alabama. They see some colder temperatures, and I'm from Georgia. We see some snow, but 4 inches is a whole lot for that area.
Yeah, I'm used to South Florida, so I'm like, snow doesn't exist. That doesn't happen.
And then up in Maine, of course, in 1991, they had a 30-foot wall of ice released after an ice jam broke. Can you imagine? That's just a big glacier, basically.
Yeah, pretty much like an iceberg, just like ramming into most of the homes and cars. So I mean, that was very devastating.
Yeah, very devastating. I mean, I can't even imagine what that would have looked like for those people up in Maine.
Yeah, that's definitely quite a tragic one indeed for Maine. But a little more about what's happening on today. It's been quite a hot one for most of us. I mean, quite a rainy one, hot. So
yeah, we're not seeing any snow or anything like that. That's surprising to me that in 1857, during the month of April, that we actually saw snow here in Florida.
Yeah, but a little more about what's happening nationally. Let's take out to Ulises.
All right, thanks, Jay. As we look at the temperatures nationally, you notice a lot of warm temperatures, pretty uniform, 60s in the north, 80s in the south, really hot in 89 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona. When it comes down to those 24-hour temperature changes, you notice where a lot of the warmth over the southwest extending all the way up to Montana where that southerly winds, and also even in the northeast corridor. But really where all that rain is, you notice a lot of those temperatures has really tumbled. 28 degrees from where it was just yesterday in Lubbock, Texas, and even 11 in Dallas. Just pretty much the state of Texas is just getting bombarded with a lot of rain. We're going to break that down in that radar. You notice a lot of rain, especially where that low pressure is in eastern New Mexico and Texas. And this is actually great news, especially for western Texas and Oklahoma, where they're actually under severe drought. So this rain is really beneficial. And that front actually extends all the way up into Michigan and even into the Ohio Valley. You notice some showers extending into Ontario and all the way down into Indiana. That's the northern fringes of this system. But a lot of the southeast, that's really where the hardcore portion of the system is. A lot of rain extending all the way into Georgia. We talked about the rain just over the western panhandle of Florida, how in Jackson County, 12 inches of rain. There's actually a flash flood watch in effect from Louisiana all the way into western Florida. When it comes to that rain, it's just going to continue to meander all throughout the southeast for the rest of the work week, folks. There's really little changes whatsoever. And that's really just going to be the main trend. The watches and warnings, red flag warnings in effect from Minnesota all the way down into the desert southwest. Just remember, high winds, low humidity, so wildfires are also a danger. High winds also into the Great Basin of Utah and even to Nevada. So the drought is just not helping out, blowing dust. And actually a lot of flash flood watches in effect from Texas all the way into West Virginia and back into the panhandle of Florida. So just the rain overall is going to dominate the southeast and even into the mid-Atlantic throughout the work week. So just be careful, turn around, don't drown, and also winter weather advisories with snow accumulations up into Washington and Oregon up to 5 to 10 inches. Well, airport delays overall pretty quiet right now, 0 except for New York at 103. Tonight's temperatures 40s throughout the western portion of the country, that ridge of warmth extending up to Washington, D.C. at 59 degrees. And that warmth will continue even to Washington, D.C. at 66 degrees, rain in the southeast, and overall temperatures rarely sizzling in Phoenix at 92 degrees. And now we're going to send it over to Tyler with a look of our local 2.
Yes, thank you, Ulysses. We're going to take a look at our local forecast. He brought you the national, and I'll take it into the local forecast right now. Right now it's 80 degrees in Tallahassee and 82 in Monticello. We got really warm, a little bit warmer than we expected because the sun actually came out for a couple hours, especially from Tallahassee and US 319 eastward, and that has allowed temperatures there to warm up into the 80s. You can see where the moisture is, mainly to the west of Tallahassee. Areas like Pensacola and Crestview, those areas have gotten slammed with about 5 inches of rain, and everywhere west of State Road 71 and State Road 69 is under a flood watch in the Florida Panhandle. That does include the cities of Panama City and Pensacola. So if you are watching us at the FSU Panama City campus, you are under a flood watch, but the Tallahassee campus is not. Over to the future cast, you can really see where the rain is, again, in the western Florida Panhandle and the state of Alabama. As we progress, you can see the low pressure center and a very diffuse cold front across much of the southeast and the Gulf Coast. This will provide a focus for several showers and thunderstorms to really come in. Again, the best chance will be over the western Florida Panhandle and a little bit further north. But again, still about a 60 to 70% chance of rain in Tallahassee, and the rain could be heavy at times all the way through the week. Tomorrow, not the best day to go boating. South-southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, so the winds aren't going to be that bad. But of course, especially if you're going west of the Appalachian Bay, you should be concerned about all the rain that's going to be falling. The water temperature is not 63, it's more like 72 degrees, and the UV index tomorrow will be quite low because of the cloud cover and rain. On the water, again, the sun will set at 8:04, so we're getting closer and closer to summer. Tonight, 67 degrees in Tallahassee with a 60% chance of rain. The best chance of that will be west and north of Leon County, including Leon County. Tomorrow, warmer but still rainy and cloudy, temperatures in the 80s, and as we go into the 7-day forecast, you can really see how we still have a pretty rainy pattern for April. April is one of our driest months. Highs will be in the 80s, lows in the 60s, and a 40 to 50% chance of rain. But now we're going to send it over to Jay with our varying segment.
Thank you. I'll tell you about that in just a little more. We're going back to you, Tyler. But for more little desk, taking it over to the north.
Yes, I mean, the Northeast right now, they're just, even though it's raining in the south, they're actually experiencing that warm air coming from the Gulf. So they're actually going to see warm temperatures this week.
Yeah, it's quite a mild week for them. So during the afternoon, they're going to have plenty of sunshine, go out and have some fun in the sun. But later on in the week, they're going to see that front like we're seeing now start to make its way into that area. So expect a lot more rain coming into parts of D.C. and parts of Boston as well.
Yeah, that rain, it's pretty much it's going to be pushing its way northward. But for the meantime, they're going to enjoy a lot of warmth out there. Pretty much they do deserve it, especially after that rough winter they had with all those cold temperatures and record snow.
Yeah, for their morning, you're going to have like probably putting a light jacket for them in the morning and then take it off later on in the afternoon, just have some shorts and, they can wear some long pants if they want to, but for the most part, it's going to be quite a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week. It's actually going to be great temperature, especially for this time of the year in April. And, the good times are rolling, especially in the Northeast.
Yeah, but a little more what's happening around Florida. Let's take it over to Tyler.
I'm sorry about that mistake, Jay and Ulises. I didn't mean to leave you out, Ulises. 80 degrees right now in Miami, a little bit warmer in Fort Myers, 82. Across the state, it is in the 80s south of I-4 and in Tallahassee because we had a little bit of sun. But you can see over in Pensacola, it is much cooler because they have seen the most rain. Speaking of rain, you can see all the moisture across mainly the Florida Panhandle, the I-10 corridor, and look at the dark greens near Pensacola, Crestview, Destin. Those areas have seen several inches of rain over the past 24 hours. Along with the heat comes the humidity, and across South Florida, the heat index is between 85 and near 90 degrees inland, where there aren't any showers. And here in Tallahassee, because temperatures went above 80, the heat index right now is 84. It's pretty humid. You can see where the rain is. It's mainly focused just to our west. West, again, of State Road 71 and State Road 69 in the western Florida Panhandle. There was a squall lining that came through Brownsville, Texas yesterday, and you can see it went up the Gulf Coast to New Orleans, and right now it's situated right around Crestview to Destin, and it's about to go into our viewing area in Liberty County and Bay County. As we go into South Florida, they have a lot of rain too, but it's a different pattern. It's a sea breeze pattern over the spine of the state, and in Highlands County, Florida, that's just east of Arcadia, they saw about 10 to 12 inches of rain when a thunderstorm just parked right over the region. You can see, again, Tallahassee is right in my back, and you can see where the rain is, mainly to the west, over Mobile, Dauphin Island, Pensacola, Gulf Shores, Alabama, those areas. That rain's moving eastward, and it should go a little bit to the north of us, the main portion of energy. So if you live in areas like Thomasville and Bainbridge, you should be getting rain, and a little bit of rain is also possible along the I-75 corridor and the US 27 corridor, particularly nasty storm northwest of Orlando. That looks like Ocoee to Leesburg, northwestern Lake County there. And you can see it even across southwest Florida, Hendry County, Collier County, Immokalee. Those areas are going to need a lot of rain too. We zoom out, you can really see the scope of this thunderstorm and sea breeze, which actually extends all the way into Thomasville. They're going to need a little bit of rain. And now we're going to send it over to Jay with our next segment.
Yes, we will. Well, a little more from Tallahassee, Florida for just a bit. Going tonight, it's going to be quite a cool one for parts of Florida. And for tomorrow, you're seeing a lot more showers in the area as well. But let's take a little more nationally around the nation. You're seeing 80 degrees in New Orleans, 81 in San Antonio. The southeast, you're seeing a bunch of rain, so a lot more scattered showers here and there for parts of the southeast. And with the Silent Rider, you're seeing a lot of rain as well. Starting to mix way right into Tallahassee. You start to see this front right over Detroit, coming from Detroit all the way to Dallas. So quite a big one for most of the southeast. Just that rain starts just sweeping its way into Tallahassee. So quite a rainmaker for the area. With the 24-hour temperature change, you're seeing not a big temperature drop with it being a cold front. You expect to see a lot more temperature drop. You're not seeing that with in this case. You're actually seeing temperatures starting to become a little more mild. Seeing +6 in Atlanta, +6 New Orleans. So quite a heat one for most of the southeast. A lot of parts of the middle of the country. You're seeing -11 in Dallas. That's a temperature drop of -11 degrees. -6 in Memphis. -2 in Kansas City. Going to Minneapolis, -12, so quite a cold one. There'll probably be the coldest one on the nation for right now. So again, quite a cool one indeed. It's not winter weather, but we're taking over to summer weather, we should be saying, because all the rain that's making its way into Tallahassee is quite a significant one. Parts of the west of us have seen probably around 8-9 inches of rain. Some places have seen more as 12 inches of rain, so quite a rainmaker for this front, so quite a different one. A little more zoomed in look around Florida, you're seeing a bunch of scattered showers going from all the way from Panhandle into Central Florida and to South Florida. You're seeing a bunch of scattered showers here and there. So Florida is not being sunny state, we're being more of the wet state, we should be calling it. Futurecast temperatures for tomorrow morning, you're seeing 70 degrees in New Orleans, 66 in Atlanta. When it goes into Tuesday afternoon, temperatures do start taking a little more of a rise, but we're going to be in the mid-70s for the most part, are you seeing with Atlanta and New Orleans. For parts of the west, you're seeing 58 in Salt Lake City and 61 in San Francisco. It's quite a cool one for the west. For Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning, you see temperatures start maybe a little more mild for Atlanta, 62 degrees. New Orleans, 71, so quite a cool one for most of the southeast and for parts of the east as well. So that front starts to make its way into in our area. It's quite a cool one to make sure our temperatures are regulated. Tomorrow's forecast, you're seeing 76 degrees in Atlanta, 87 in Tallahassee, 82 in New Orleans. For tomorrow, you're seeing a lot of temperatures start making its way into the 80s as well, with 87 in Tallahassee and 82 in New Orleans. So just quite an interesting one for most of the nation.
Yes, I mean, just definitely a lot more uniformity, but definitely, the rain's mostly hanging out in the south and more quieter conditions up north.
Yeah, I mean, up north, you're seeing a lot more of mild temperatures indeed.
Yes, but actually that warmth is actually traveling across the continent, across the Atlantic into actually Western and Central Europe right now.
Yes, we're starting a little more look around Europe with all the mild temperatures and hot temperatures for parts of their area.
Yeah, especially like London, they're actually going to climb into the 70s, so is Paris, and pretty much with all this ridge of high pressure, any systems that come off from the Atlantic, pretty much from us, are pretty much going to be hitting over Scandinavia.
Yes, indeed. So they're going to have some shorts, probably some tank tops later on into the week, because, I mean, again, that's going to be quite hot weather for their area.
Yeah, very balmy, especially towards the Mediterranean regions, where temperatures are expected to climb closer to the 80s, especially as we go into midweek before things die down just a tad. And now we're going to send it over to Donovan with a last look of our local.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, let's talk about Tallahassee one more time before we shut it down tonight. Looking at our almanac, we were way above the averages for, well, not way above, but pretty far ahead above our averages for our high and our low today. Just stayed very humid. Even with that rain, we got pretty hot today. And around the Big Bend, these are what's going on right now, sitting around 80 degrees here in Tallahassee. Monticello around 82. Up into the Peach State, they're sitting pretty nice, a little bit cooler than us in the 70s. But overall, pretty hot day, pretty muggy day, humid day here across Tallahassee and the Big Bend area. Now, we've been talking about this rain all day, and this is what we saw. Again, Louisiana just got hammered all the way from South Louisiana to North Louisiana with rain, and we saw a lot of that same system move over all the way through the Panhandle and into Tallahassee, and that's just because of that cold front and that high pressure system sitting out over here around Texas, and it's just created some rainy conditions for us here around Tallahassee and up into Georgia today in our viewing area. And you see, as that gets closer, we're still going to get affected by all of these storms and the rain that comes with that. So over the next several days, over the next maybe 10 days, we could be seeing some more rain, so be sure to keep that umbrella handy. That's what we've been saying all night. You don't want to get caught outside without it, as we could be seeing some heavy showers from time to time over the next several days here in our area. Now, talking about tonight, we're sitting around 67 in Tallahassee. Again, showers very possible, sitting around 60% chances. Pretty light winds outside, so nothing too bad. Shouldn't be a heavy shower, but again, expect some possible precipitation across the area. St. Mark's around 68. And then down towards the coast, they're sitting really nice. 70 in Apalachicola. Sounds like a really good night to be down there on the coast, maybe eating some seafood tonight. That'd be great. For tomorrow, around 85 here in the capital city, 83 in Monticello, 82 up in Thomasville, 85 Valdosta. I mean, up into South Georgia as well. They're sitting just about the same as we are today. Very humid. Some more rain possibly throughout your day as you're on campus walking around. So again, just be prepared for that. You want your rain jacket, something that you can take off, something light, and your umbrellas as well, because I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to be back tomorrow. And for our 7-day forecast, again, just looking at those rain chances, 60% for tomorrow and into Wednesday. And then we drop a little bit on Thursday and into Friday going into the next week. But again, our temperatures stay pretty high, so that's going to create some possible muggy situations, some very humid situations. As that dew point gets really close to our temperatures, it just makes for very humid conditions. So expect that over the next several days. I know me and Jay were talking about taking showers and wearing your deodorant because you want to be considerate of other people during this time when it's very humid outside. But you look at those lows, we're sitting really nice around the mid-60s, getting close to 70. But again, that's just adding on to those humid conditions. But guys, what do you think of this weather?
I know what I think. I think I need some tank tops, some shorts, lemonade on standby. And with all the rain, an umbrella and rain boots will probably become a best friend.
Yeah, right now, I mean, I agree with everything. I guess right now we just need a little bit of everything, including that deodorant.
Yes, indeed. If you have indoor activities like outside, I know we have a baseball game tomorrow against UF. That's probably going to have a nice, slight rain delay. But we'll stay tuned to that a little more with Melanie Show tomorrow. So again, make sure to stay tuned because it's going to be quite a wet one the next couple of days.
Yeah, the next couple of days, show us the rain's going to hover around until Thursday before we even get some partial clearing going into the weekend. But overall, temperatures are going to be really uniform with those low 80s, and even in the mornings, pretty comfortable in those 60s going to work.
Yes, with also with the rain chances going down on Saturday and Sunday, so it'll make for a fantastic weekend. Temperature's going to be a little bit more lower than usual, 82 on Saturday, and you're seeing 81 on Sunday. So quite a good one indeed. And you know what's also quite good? Liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, and always watching our good faces on livestream.com/FSU Weather.
Oh yeah, just watch us anytime, and just also remember just to keep yourself dry.
Yes, attempt to keep yourself dry. It's been quite a wet one next couple of days. But anyways, I'm sitting meteorologist Jay Kimball.
I'm also meteorologist Ulises Garcia, and have a great evening, folks.